what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Ashleigh here. I really wanted to sit down and chat about things that I wish I knew before moving to Tasmania, Australia. So let's get into it. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you want to learn more about Australia versus US and kind of my journey, I'll pop a couple videos up here, but let's get into it. I talked about this a bit on my Instagram and my TikTok, so at Coffee Nut, make sure you go check that out if you want to learn more. But these are like the 5 top things that I, especially looking back now that I've lived in Tasmania for almost 2 years now, what I wish I knew before moving here. And also I want this to be an open discussion, so if there's anything that you want someone to know or you think that someone should know before moving to Tasmania, make sure to leave it in the comments. Number 1, Tasmania hates change. People who live here either accept that, ignore it, or move away, whether it's interstate or internationally. I had a really lovely discussion on a podcast earlier this year, I'll link it down below, with a guy who moved interstate from Queensland with his partner. And it was just really great to have just like such an open discussion about this, because like I'm not here to get political or sit one way or the other. This is just a really just honest and open conversation, not judgmental at all. And I really enjoyed it because it was like, oh, okay, like people can talk about different opinions that they have on where they live and not get political, and it was really nice. So I would definitely encourage you to listen to that if you want to hear me chat about it a bit more. But yeah, it's just really interesting because I feel I've like heard a lot of small business owners, for example, mention just little things like, oh, I tried to change the color of my awning and the council said no. And I completely understand wanting to uphold pristine nature and all of that, all of the wildlife of Tasmania, as it does make it, you know, a great place to live and a great place to travel to that is very different from the mainland. But I also see it as naturally everywhere in the world, progression is inevitable. I'm just gonna leave it at that. 2, Tasmania might be less populated than other parts of Australia, but the community aspect is so strong here. Once you find your community, you are set. It just might take a while, and it took me a really long time to find my community, or just like friends. If you guys have been watching my stuff, you would know that I've had a few episodes, especially earlier this year, where I was just really down with myself and feeling really alone. And I mean, the winter time didn't really help, but I mean, also this isn't exclusive to Tasmania. Like, it's very normal to move somewhere and it take a while to make friends, find a friend group, kind of fit in. But I feel like since a lot of the people that do live here are from here or grew up here or have grown up here, moved away, and then have come back, they already have a lot of like built-in friends. And since the community is overall quite tight-knit here, at least in Hobart, it's very much, once you're in, you're in. It just might take a while to like find your footing. I also struggled a lot with, and still do, that a lot of friends that I have made have moved back to the mainland. And so then it's sad. But yeah, once you find your community, you're all set. It just might take some time. And I think that I especially wish that I gave myself a lot more grace and credit and compassion of just being like, hey Ash, it's gonna sort out. It just might take a little bit longer, and that's completely okay. And yeah, now that I have like so many great friends and such lovely people here, like the people here truly are so lovely that I feel so much better and so much more connected. Being able to go around and run into like so many people that you know, even just getting a coffee, the tight-knit community aspect is definitely strong. It just took a while. 3, shipping takes forever. It sure does. I remember moving here and ordering my first thing off Amazon, like probably beginning of last year. And oh my goodness, it took a month to get something. And obviously I knew Amazon here was going to be different than Amazon in the US. Like, we don't have same day delivery or next day delivery, or like there is Prime, but it's not the same as the US. Obviously moving internationally, I knew things were gonna be different, but it just blew my mind. I was expecting, okay, maybe it might take like a week or 2, but it took over a month. And then also, what was it? I literally ordered coffee, like a bag of coffee from a roaster in Launceston in northern Tasmania, and took almost 2 weeks. Wow. Obviously, it's a bit more rural than mainland Australia. I got it, but there are so many other rural places in mainland Australia as well, so I don't know. Please let me know in the comments, is this just like an Auspost thing? Or also simultaneously, I am waiting for my family sent me a Christmas package, and it's still over a month and I'm waiting, and I'm quite nervous because Christmas is this weekend, so I really hope that I can like celebrate with them. But anyway, yeah. But then it's so funny because I can send stuff out of Australia and it's so quick. I literally sent something to the US and it took a week and a half. I sent something to the UK, it took not even a week. I was absolutely mind blown, but definitely, I've definitely ordered a lot less things online since moving here. I know obviously there's not as much production or like merchandise and manufactured goods that are made here in Australia. So in the US it makes sense that it's not gonna take as long, but yeah, it was definitely very interesting. Like I haven't purchased anywhere near as much online as I used to living in the US. So I guess in a way that's good because I'm saving money and I'm kind of being more minimalist, and I guess in a way sustainable because yeah, I'm not ordering online. So anyway, very interesting, but also ran into some issues when I was ordering furniture because there was a couple things that I wanted to order online and they're like, yeah, we don't ship to Tasmania, or we don't ship to your area. And that was quite a bummer. But okay, number 4. To see all the cool places in Tasmania, you need a car or a friend with a car, or just know someone with a car. I know when I first moved here, so many people were like, how are you living without a car? How do you not have a car? Even people were just shocked that I didn't really have an interest in getting one or didn't feel like I needed one. And that was mainly because I had friends with a car or I knew people with a car. Definitely like all last year I lived pretty close to the city and I was finishing up my master's, so I just felt like everything was within walking distance, but I definitely do think that I did miss out in a lot of travel and going to cool places. The public transportation, in my opinion, is fine in CBD area, but once you go out of it, you are on your own. You definitely need a car to get to a lot of the touristy places, to get to really anywhere else in the state that isn't Hobart or Launceston. And yeah, just making friends, either having a car or having a friend with a car is definitely the way to go. Or you can rent a car. There was a couple times last year where I did rent a car, and booking like enough in advance, I think it was like $50 for the day, which I don't think is that bad at all, considering I was like, oh, I just want to go to like a couple places around Hobart, like Bonnarong. I'm honestly kind of surprised that there are a couple more touristy places, at least in the Hobart area, that don't have a free shuttle or a way for tourists to get to, because a lot of people do specifically fly into Hobart or take the cruise ship into Hobart, for example, and then they're like, oh, I can't really like get anywhere. So having a car or a friend with a car is definitely the way to go, because you know, now that I have more access to friends with cars, I am planning a trip to Cradle and Mariah finally. Oh my goodness, it's taken so long. Like there are so many places that I still want to get to in Tasmania. And as always, if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear them in the comments. 5. Jobs are extremely limited in Tasmania, depending on the field of work, of course. But for example, in my field, if you guys have been keeping up with me for a while, I did my degree in Marine and Antarctic Science here at UTAS, and the jobs in that field and a lot of similar fields are very limited here. So many people I know, like in my lab or friends of friends, have literally, the second a permanent job or any sort of full-time job opens up, remotely related to their field, the amount of people that have been like, oh, I'm putting my PhD on pause because I want the opportunity to like have a set job here in Tasmania. That is how limited they are. Like unless people move away or retire, there aren't really many jobs in that field. And so again, very much dependent on your field of work. Like for example, there's always hospitality jobs hiring here and other fields. Everyone keeps talking about how much we need nurses here in Tasmania. Like there are definitely fields of work that are much needed, but then there are others that are extremely limited, and then it just makes it more limited because of, you know, Tasmania is an island off an island. Someone commented that the other day. I forget it was on one of my videos or TikTok, and they're like, that was so weird that you put an island off an island. And I'm like, well, yeah, technically, like yes, Australia is a whole country, but you know, it's still technically. Anyway, moving on. So definitely depends on your field, but overall I've heard a lot of experiences of people that I know about how limiting jobs can be here. Like for example, there wasn't really any jobs for me, so that's why this past year I have kind of taken a break from science and I am working in management full-time, which is fine in the meantime. It's money, it's a job. I will gladly take it because that means I can stay here and all of that. But yeah, definitely not a long-term goal of mine. It's just a lot of, you know, picking and choosing. But have you found that jobs are limited here in Tasmania, or what field do you work in? I would love to hear more, because like I said, I know especially hospitality, there are always jobs hiring, there are always people looking for help. Like there's different avenues that you can most definitely find work. Moving here internationally and just looking for a part-time job, there were a decent amount of options, but then for example, when I was looking at the beginning of this year for full-time work, I even struggled in hospitality or like retail or anything for full-time work. So yeah, everyone's experience is different, but that's been mine. What is something that you think that someone should know moving to Tasmania? I would love to chat in the comments, and I appreciate you if you've gotten this far. It means a lot. Make sure to leave a comment and a like, because it does really support this channel. Yeah, make sure to head again over to my Instagram and my TikTok if you want more content like this, and if you have any topics that you would love for me to address, make sure to leave them in the comments. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.